I'm really sick and tired of starting on notes like that. So I'm going to try it one more time and hope that it works, because I am so sick and tired of this bull you-know-what. So let's see whether it works. I am so tired of this crap that is called freezing XSplit. Let's give it a shot one more time. And if it doesn't work, I give up.
Hi, I'm Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm Steven Jondrew, and we're from Better Podcasting, a proud member of the GonnaGeek network.
Just like the show you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of the individual host.
Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready, because geekiness begins in 3,
2,
1.
This is it. The part of your week where you get to put your headphones on, relax, and listen to a bunch of geeks geek out about geeky things. They're passionate.
Did you know Magic Mike XXL is actually on the top 25 list of this year's best movie?
They're witty.
He loves him some Katy Perry because she kissed a girl and she liked it.
They're crazy.
I like Nickelback personally, but, I'm the fuddy-duddy who likes episode 1.
And sometimes I leave you wondering, what the f***?
I'm pretty sure that here we were starting the hashtag movement, Bring Back Slave Feral.
Welcome to the GonnaGeek.com podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 131 of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. My name is Steven Jondrew, and with me today is the glorious, the beautiful Chris Farrell.
I'm sexy and I know it.
We also have with us the I don't know. I got no compliments for this guy. His name's Stargate Pioneer.
The SNES
You need
man.
to put a permanent technical difficulties banner on the bottom.
Ooh.
That makes no sense because I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. And that's the glory, the beauty of editing. And rounding us off here, we have the most important of the four of us. It is not only the French-Canadian sensation, it is the real _ JSH. What's up, JS?
That's right. I'm too legit to quit.
He is very, very legit. And so is Chris Farrell. Chris, you have gone down in a venture or an exploration of some form that we've been talking about behind the scenes. Why don't you go ahead and fill our audience in on this exploration?
You fill that audience up.
So I'm moving to Canada to go live with Steven Jondrew, everyone. I wanted to announce it live here on the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. That's
very true. Very, very true.
We're all becoming his wives.
Yes, we're all going to be Steven's wives.
It doesn't get cold in BC.
I get good benefits, okay? So fair enough.
Does it even snow in BC?
No, but seriously, I notice if you're not on the YouTube side of things, you might notice. Well, if you're not on the YouTube side of things, you won't notice this. But if you are on the YouTube side of things, you will notice that Chris looks a little naked tonight. So, Chris, what's going on?
I took off all my clothes so I could podcast tonight. In all seriousness, though, I have swapped out my headphones. I'm not using my cans as I normally am. I have done an experiment that was kind of talked about on Better Podcasting when I last listened to it. We've been talking about behind the scenes. And instead of wearing my cans, I've got some in-ear monitors in right now, which are running down my back. So if you're on video, you can't really see my headphones unless I turn my head like that.
Now, those of you watching would not have known this, but pre-show, Chris had his cans on to hide them. So, Chris, I say that is a genius idea, and I think that you are such a terrific and smart individual for thinking to try to trick us.
You're a lovely
I just
person.
followed what you'd done in other places. I just wanted to screw with you a little bit, but forgot that even when I'm not on camera, I'm on camera in your studio.
Not always. It just happens to be that this week is Chris Farrell week in the Jondrew house, and has nothing to do with what's on my screen. It's just what my wife and I do this week.
What?
Chris Farrell week.
I'm scared. It's really scared.
I'm really
now
scared.
Because either his wife is going to meet you somewhere, or Steven has a mock-up of you somewhere, and both scare me.
Let's
Little
just
bit.
say that there's a razor involved, and I'm shaving off my hair tonight.
You got to grow your beard out a lot, though.
Oh, we've got something for that. I just pasted on. But should we go ahead?
Glue the hair off the top of your head to your beard then?
Exactly. Go West Virginia! Woo! All right, let's go ahead and move into the news. Should we do that?
Why don't we do that?
Alrighty. Today, we are going to start off with the one and only Chris Farrell and an update on something we've talked about previously. Chris, what do we got going on this week?
So it's 2016 now, which means it is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, the original series. As part of that effort right now, the Smithsonian at the National Air and Space Museum is doing its part to restore the original Enterprise model that was used in the television show. They have been gracious enough to share some pictures of how the restoration process is going so far. So if you're really curious about that, head on over to their website or go check out, there's an article at Ars Technica that'll be in the show notes that gives a rundown of all the pictures and all the work they're doing on it. It's pretty dang cool to see how close it's getting back to being the Enterprise we know from TV. And they've got a lot of work to do, but it's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely very, very true. Very cool. I'm really impressed with how this is shaping up, because when we talked about it before, I know they were pretty desperate to get photos, and that didn't seem promising to me. I don't know. How about you, SP?
Yeah, I'm grateful that they've actually started this, because I want this thing to last for a while. Let's face it, it's one of the big monarchs of sci-fi. It's one of the big icons. It's the ship itself. And to have the model itself that was used in the show restored to its original shape and condition is awesome. And I just can't wait to see it done. And I have actually seen it when it was on display in the Smithsonian that was right off the mall in Washington, D.C. And I got a cool little picture of myself by it. And it was really cool. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Now, Chris, was there actually like an open house like for half a day or something like that where they brought people in? I didn't really get to read the article, but I saw some comments that it was like open on a Saturday or something for people to come in and see it.
Right, so I was going to bring that up. On January 30th, they'd done an open house to let people see the restoration in progress, and I kind of wish I could have been there for that, but I did not drive out to DC to go witness that, because much like SP, I've seen the model myself when I was a kid at the Air and Space Museum. And it was really dang cool. And I can't wait to see what they do. I mean, I love Star Trek. I love seeing the spaceships. That was one of my favorite things about going to the Star Trek experience in Vegas, was seeing all the ships hanging from the ceilings. And I just want to see more. I love ships. I collect a bunch of them. It's an unhealthy addiction. Very unhealthy.
I have a couple of them. I have a couple of them as well. Missing just a few. But that model was pretty banged up, man.
Yes, they did a poor restoration at one point in time. They've got to undo as part of the problem.
Yeah.
But these guys, this is their job. They're going to find a way to make it look good and make it last. So I'm not worried that the Enterprise is going to be gone forever. It's only been down since September, but hopefully we get it back soon.
No, I agree. I think that it's something though that when everything's all said and done and fans start flocking, I think we'll really marvel at what they really did. What? No,
No,
I thought
they
you were
will.
trying to set
I
up a transition somewhere.
yeah.
no, I'm serious. I do. I really think though that we undervalue a little bit about the job that they had ahead of them, because JS is right. It was in bad shape.
It still is, man. I mean, I don't know if you're looking at the progress. It's pretty bad.
Not as bad as it was though.
No, but I mean, the coloring is completely messed up. I don't know what they did, but it's pretty green now.
They probably removed the bad restoration, or in the process of that. I don't know what specific portion of the restoration that they're in, but I know this stuff takes a while. I also don't know the schedule, but for instance, the Memphis Belle, if you're a fan of movies or whatever, the Memphis Belle was a B-17 that was actually, it was the real Memphis Belle. It was used in the movie, and it is undergoing restoration, I believe, in Dayton, Ohio, and at the Air Force Museum there. And I think it's been under restoration for a few years, and it's got a few more years before it comes out. Now, it's more complex. It's a B-17. It's a flying plane, but still, if you are trying to set a model up, which was clearly not meant to last decades, or perhaps even centuries, you got to do something for it. I mean, heck, even the Sistine Chapel has gone underneath restoration. It just takes a while.
So, JS, I don't know if you've been watching the chat room, but we're told that you could pass as Ben Affleck Batman in the chat room. How does that make you feel?
I've heard it. I get it often, actually, from time to time. There's some angles I get the Ben Affleck. It's been the main.
Does that mean you'll get free admission?
No.
You should just crash the red carpet premiere and be like, I'm Ben Affleck. Let me in. Come on.
Yes.
I'm Batman. I don't like
Batman.
jokers.
I think.
What did you say? I don't like jokers and clowns and flashy costumes.
I've noticed, by the way, have we noticed how JS's head is cut off, by the way, on this episode today? I feel like that helps contribute to the Ben Affleck scenario. That's what I think.
I feel like Jennifer Gardner's
like that,
just
like
outside the frame, just a little bit.
No, I wasn't criticizing JS. I was just saying that I think that might be one of the reasons why, but
I always frame.
I was hinting at a bald joke, JS. I was being a horrible, horrible individual.
It's okay, man. I don't have a shame. I'm not ashamed that I'm bald.
Me neither. It's distinguished looking.
It's quite satisfying when you don't have to like comb your hair in the morning and get stuff like you wake up. It's very like having had a lot of hair, and then going from a lot to not having any. I can tell you it's quite satisfying having no hair.
Okay. Fair enough. It's probably more satisfying though than what will happen when somebody has to eat crow in 2025, right, SB?
Eating crow.
We'll see if somebody eats crow or not. But Elon Musk was talking at Start Me Up HK Festival in Hong Kong last week. And he, of course, is the SpaceX and Tesla founder. If you watched Iron Man 2, you were in his facility, SpaceX facility, and he was in the movie. He was at the Formula One race. So there you go. And also he was name dropped last week on Legends of Tomorrow. So if you haven't catched that out, you should. Anyway, he was talking and he basically said that he would really like, as a private company, to send somebody to Mars in 2025. He thinks it's ambitious. It will be very inspirational to people, and Mars could act as a lifeboat for humanity in the solar system. And while I think that is correct, all of it, I want to caution everybody that is listening is that Mars is not really an habitable, it's not anywhere you can live, right? Because there is no radiation shield around the planet like there is at Earth. The gravity is really not there, and you're going to have to harvest a lot of water. So is it possible? Yes. Do I see it really happening anytime soon? No.
But SP, I really like Matt Damon.
Yeah,
Matt
Mark Watney did it.
Damon. Matt Damon.
You can't do this to me. I love Matt Damon.
Well, I think the movie showed that Mars is not really friendly. It's not a great place to be as far as living forever. Now, I do think that eventually we're going to send settlers out there, but look at what happened with Jamestown. How long did that last? Not very long. It takes a while before you can actually colonize somewhere else. And I just think it's going to be a different sort of living. It's not anything that we've really thought through. I know a lot of people are working on it, but reality is just going to set in and it's just going to be different. Now, that concrete that Suncast was talking to us about a few weeks ago in the post show, I think that's going to be it will go a long way in actually contributing to humanity's ability to live on Mars. But it will be inspirational. Absolutely. Will it inspire humanity to move on? Yeah. But is it going to mean much? Not at first. It's just going to be a cute stunt. Maybe even a television show. Maybe not the one that has been posted and in planning right now that's basically falling apart. But I think that's what we might be looking for. And if he can afford to send as a company to send somebody to Mars, good on you. That is one heck of you will not find any other promotional opportunity out there that will get as much press as this. This will be Elon Musk with whatever brand he puts on it forever as the company that sponsored Mars colonization.
Well, he's going to have to do it, though, because do you really see any big pushes by any of the government space organizations, or space agencies, rather, aside from NASA, of course, to go to Mars?
I've gone through cycles on this for the last 30 years of NASA's next jump being back to Mars and whatever. And while they're on the Mars kick right now, I think budget realities are going to kick in. Yeah, we'll send a ship or two out there, but we're not going to send anybody to live there. It's just going to be, can we sustain the trip there? Can we come back? And who knows? Maybe the people will undergo a radiation storm or whatever and not actually make it there and back. There's a ton of stuff that can go wrong in a 6-month trip to Mars.
Or they become the Fantastic Four.
There you go. I think we got everything right there. We have our movie, and they'll have GoPros all around, and we'll be able to sell the movie. Right? I think that's a great idea. You know what? I'm going to write a note for SNAS. I mean,
okay,
that's a secret memo. It's a smemo for NASA.
NASA's already on Mars. Did you not hear about that?
Yeah.
Don't you guys remember a couple of years ago when the rover got dirty and they thought it was scrapped, and then all of a sudden the following day it was not dirty anymore, and then there was pictures of a shadow and it looked like a person, and people were like, "Look, it's somebody cleaning the machine." Again, I can't do you actually think they'd take a picture while the guy's cleaning the machine and then release it to the public? People with conspiracy theories, come on.
Talking about a governmental organization, it is not as airtight as you think it is.
Look, if a government organization can fly and live and have a base on Mars, trust me, and it's been secret for this long, trust me, they ain't gonna make that error.
There was also an article that came out that said the statistical probability of us actually not going to the moon, meaning it was a hoax, it would be over now, because statistically humans can't not keep a secret that long.
Okay, so Jay, as you and I, in a past podcast life called The Fanboy Buzz, we used to often talk about how pornography would influence the industry, right? We used to talk about that a fair amount. So here is your solution. Space XXX. That's your solution right there. Space XXX. Mars porn.
Did you not hear about my future idea? I wanted to market water that's filtered between women's breasts. I'm telling you, it would sell.
Ooh.
How did we get to this topic?
I'm telling you, that's my idea. I'm telling you, sex sells. Sex sells.
We've got from
SpaceX girls in a rocket
to pornography, and so you know, now that you put it out there, somebody's actually going to do it and market it and make $1 gazillion. You know that, right?
I am telling you, if they went Space XXX, we would have been on Mars 5 years ago, guaranteed. That's a Stephen John Drew guarantee right there.
Yeah, if they put naked ladies in rockets, I'm telling you.
The way the porn regulations are running, that might be where they have to go.
All right, well, that's okay. I'll just go ahead and move off of this topic here because
please,
I apparently derailed us. Rounding off our news this week, we are going to be talking about the beloved Google Hangouts. That's right. Google Hangouts is a wonderful messenger that SP, Chris, JS, and I use on a regular basis. It is phenomenal. But they decided that they were going to go ahead and put out an update, 7.0. Now, here is the thing. You may remember a year or two ago, they made a big announcement that you could all of a sudden use Hangouts as your SMS client. It was glorious. It was beautiful. It was moving towards iMessage. Well, guess what? Hangout 7 comes with a nice banner at the top saying, "Have you tried the Google SMS client?" So they're essentially rolling back a little bit. It still does do it, but here's the thing. There's two notes I want to make on that. Number one, obviously they don't see it being sustainable for them to continue down this bridge path. Number two, I personally actually just 2 months ago, no, it was last month, switched away from Hangouts being my SMS client because I was not getting any MMS anymore. Pictures, they would just come and they would give an error. And I Googled and people said it was Hangout. Sure enough, as soon as I switched to the Google SMS Messenger, or whatever you want to call it, SMS client, it ended up working no problem at all. So there's obviously a bug in there somewhere. Maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. Maybe there's a conspiracy. Maybe the bug is happening because they want people to migrate away from Hangouts, right? So that's very interesting about that. Before I let the other guys chime in here as well, there are a couple other updates as well that I will just quickly run down. Number one, they're adding a shortcuts to conversations. So now you'll be able to go ahead and on your individual desktop or whatever you want to call it, on your phone, you can actually put a shortcut to somebody you talk to on a regular basis. That way it pops right up in the conversation bubble. And there also will be a quick reply button. So when you get the notification at the top, you'll be able to hit reply and boom, you're into the reply, which is really a smart idea. A lot of other messengers have been doing that for a while. And the best part that I think is that now finally on the Android side of things, they are continuing to not offer video to be sent by Hangouts because I don't know. They've got YouTube. Why would they bother to integrate it into Hangouts to actually be able to send a video to somebody? That would be insane. Oh, wait, you can do that on the iOS version. Hashtag rant over.
Because they expect you to hit the video call button. Let's be honest. All right, show of hands. How many people have wanted to actually record a video clip and send in their Hangouts messenger?
Me.
Other than Steven.
I have kids. Absolutely. Big thing. One of the big reasons why I don't see my wife leaving iOS, honestly, because she likes to send those to people.
But you see, there's other messenger services that do that. Google just doesn't care as part of what it is because the vast majority of their users, I bet, don't care either. If you want to send videos, go to Snapchat, go to Facebook Messenger, stuff like that will do all of that.
Does WhatsApp do it as well?
WhatsApp does do it. WhatsApp does a really good job with it, actually. But
does it?
Yeah, it does the built-in compression just like iMessage. It's not as smooth because it actually tells you when it's compressing, but out of all of the clients that I have tried, it does the best job.
So I've never had a use case for it personally, so it doesn't really faze me. The fact that they're trying to shift people away from using Hangouts for their SMS stuff, I don't understand it. It seems like a step back because they made such a big deal of, well, we're going to try and do away with the Messenger app so everything goes through Hangouts. Now, that being said, part of that might be because Hangouts gets damn slow after a while. I've noticed if I'm trading messages with you guys, occasionally it's just really, really slow to open up the Hangouts app on my Android phone. And I think there must be a RAM leak or something like that because it's got some sort of issue. I don't know what, but I regularly have to close the app and then restart it when it starts to slow down like that. And I don't see that problem when I access Hangouts on my tablet. But from my perspective, I don't do SMS messaging that much anymore. The only things I really get SMS messages for are from my house alarm when it tells me it's turned off and on, and for like notifications of packages arriving or notifications from doctor's offices that my appointment's coming up. Most of my friends either use Facebook Messenger, which I loathe, or Google Hangouts.
Really? You don't like Facebook Messenger? Why not?
I don't like the permissions that you kind of have to give up to be able to use Facebook Messenger. We've talked about that before on here. Now, it's spelled out what they are. I think it's just a slippery slope, though, and people stop paying attention eventually, and then they start giving access to more and more stuff that could potentially be abused. I'm not saying Facebook is abusing it. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I just am uncomfortable with the level of access Messenger requires.
It's completely obvious that they're abusing the crap out of it, for sure.
Wouldn't shock me.
For sure.
See, and I'm actually in a similar situation where I rarely do text. There's maybe one person, maybe two, but I so rarely text with them that that's what I really liked about it being integrated. It was one less icon that I had to have easily accessible because I don't want to go hunting for it when I do end up having to send somebody an actual text. And now it bugs me that I have to go back to the other. Like, I know technically I don't have to, but the fact that it started glitching out a couple of months ago and now this is coming out in the latest update, I don't see that error getting solved. I don't see that bug getting solved.
I guess the question I would have for folks here is, everyone on here, minus SP, is an Android phone user. So my question for you guys and our chat room would be, what's the what's the application you're using for your SMS chat right now or messages? Are you using Hangouts? Are you using the Google Messenger app? Or are you using some third-party thing? I'm really curious to see what other options are out there that people recommend. So, Steven, what are you using? Just the Google Messenger service?
Two things. Number one, I use Google Hangouts for you guys. That's the first one, and all of the other GonnaGeekers. And then for my family, who many of them are iOS users, some are Android, Viber. Viber's been very good to me. I know you had problems installing it, but Viber, it's very big. It's quite large. There's a desktop client and everything, but it's been really good for me. I can at least send a video that way. It's hit and miss whether or not it compresses like WhatsApp does, so that is a bit of a problem. Sometimes I have to go do it manually, but at least the possibility is there. And there's some other things. It works well with the groups and other and whatnot. And it is not like Hangouts where you can go and actually log into a web interface. It is push, so you will only get the message on the devices you have the client installed on.
Chris gave Viber 1-star review.
Who did?
Chris.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's right there. It pops up. The first one that pops up.
He couldn't get it
since
installed.
You and I it wouldn't even install. It would crash every time I would try and load it on my Nexus 5.
I had the same problem with Snapchat. I can't get it to work at all.
Well, I don't get Snapchat, and Suncast explained to me in the chat room that's because I'm not sending any nudes. So I will up my Snapchat game, I guess.
All right, Chris, I'll add you after on Snapchat.
Yeah. Danon in the chat said iMessage and Viber, and guest 353 said iMessages for friends, Hangouts for professional, and Facebook Messenger for the dork peeps.
Right, and Suncast
Dorks.
using the iOS built-in Messenger app on his device. JS, what are you using on yours? Are you using the built-in?
So Hangouts I use a lot with you guys. I also use it with some friends that have either Nexus phones. Mainly people who have Nexus phones seem to be the ones that are using it. Because it was forced at one time. I don't know if you remember, you were forced to use it.
Vaguely, yeah, because they wanted to discontinue the Messenger app at the time.
Highly using the Messenger app. Highly using the Messenger app. There was a time where I was part of I used WhatsApp, but the problem is, man, that thing uses up battery. Just ding, 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 ding all the time. So I disabled all my options. It's the same a little bit with Hangouts, to be quite honest. I've disabled all my options there too, because it just used up so much battery. I had so many people talking in conversations and groups and stuff like that. At one point, I was just getting a message every 2 to 3 minutes. I use Messenger extensively. Facebook Messenger extensively. I've not really experienced any issues, but I have to say I think that's my main method of communication.
So, Chris, you mentioned earlier that Hangouts for you tends to freeze. I'm let you talk here in a second, SP. I just want to interject this. I find that, yes, it does that a little bit for me, but Facebook Messenger, way worse for me. It is amazing how many times that thing pops up and I have to shut down my phone.
See, Facebook Messenger for me, I don't get a ton of messages on it. It's every once in a while when there's some event coming up that people are trying to reach out on, but it annoys me, the implementation, and I need to turn it off in the options. I always forget where that little face head pops up on my home screen. I have to make it go away. I'm like, this annoys the crap out of me. Go away. And I tend to agree with Suncast, what he's saying in the chat right now, that Hangouts feels like another forgotten Google product. I wouldn't be shocked to see it get end-of-lifed and they yank out the SMS component and you find the Google Hangouts application just be parsed down to Google Messages and not have SMS included at all anymore.
No, I agree with that. SP, I cut you off. What were you going to say about what you use?
Yeah, well, a couple of things. First of all, the reason why Google Hangouts app hasn't been developed is they've shifted all of their developers over to Google Play to include podcasts into Google Play. That's what's going on. They don't care about Hangouts. They care all about Google Play with podcasts. That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's why we've heard nothing about a release date on when that starts.
That is so behind.
Soon. Okay, air quotes there.
I've heard that for the last 3 months.
That was supposed to be a joke, everybody. Okay, thank you very much for biting it.
I got that, SP. I think that was a wonderful joke. It was on the level with my jokes.
Maybe. Well, I guess we're both dads, so okay. The other issue, though, of what I use is one of the reasons why I love using iMessage is because my sister, who's mentally handicapped, actually can receive messages for me. So I send videos through iMessage. I don't know if she'd be able to open up Google Hangouts and use it or whatever, but I know she can use iMessage. So that's the only place that I send videos. Other than that, who cares?
No, I think that that's a really, really, really good reason for it. So I have respect for that.
My Google Play Music podcast, actually, it works. Doesn't, like, I actually have a page.
There should be a
I can
page,
get
but I
one.
don't know that it actually does anything yet.
Well, I got a podcast
For us
already.
for us here in America, it's just a landing page, and all we see is coming soon.
All right, so top left has Google Play Music logo. Right under that has an all podcast drop-down menu a la Google Plus, where you have a search. Once you click on it, you have a search bar, then all podcasts and new podcasts. When you click on all podcasts, sends you to the main page, I guess, where it says podcasts, and you have your list of podcasts. You have the podcast name to the left, status in the middle, and latest update. So you can submit feeds. You can add podcasts. There's a big add podcast button. So somebody send me our XML feed. Do we have an XML feed? I hope we have one.
We've already submitted our stuff.
Yeah, it's all submitted.
Yeah,
Has
they
it?
opened
Okay.
up the portal to submit stuff a few months back. So like when I go to it in North America, all I get is podcast playing soon, and then I can get to the portal and submit my RSS feeds if I want to. I don't get anything other than that. So that's interesting that you're getting a different
It's
view.
possible that I get something because I'm a Google Play member. I do have the
I don't know.
Google Play membership.
Oh, the audio service?
Mhm.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that could very well be.
Yeah, it might be
Interesting.
some permission for people who have the service. Maybe it's like a at beta or something. It doesn't tell me beta,
Well,
but
So actually, if you go into the portal itself, I'm getting the screen you're describing, but literally the only stuff that shows up for me is the podcasts I've submitted. And when I try and search a podcast, it returns no results. Like, for instance, I tried to search Night Attack, which is a fairly hefty sized podcast out there, and I get no results. So I think it's just the skeleton's in place and they haven't connected all the pipes for my non-technical definition of what's going on.
yep, it seems to be the case. If I type Star Wars, for example, nothing comes up.
Yeah. So they've got the framework in place for people to do their submissions, but they haven't done anything else yet. And like SP jokingly said, soon. We'll get it soon.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, it hasn't. Isn't Gmail still in beta?
No, I don't think it is.
I'm not sure.
I think it is, man.
I think Google's in beta.
Don't you remember? Like it was in beta for like the last 5 years. No, I think it's officially launched.
Well, that is going
Yeah.
to take us towards the end of the news. Before we do continue on, though, I will remind everybody that we are part of the GonnaGeek network at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. And we've said this a couple of times. There's a variety of shows available, including the Starling Tribune, which season 4 edition AWOL is now out. You can check that out, where Chris, Neil, and Stargate Pioneer talk about the episode AWOL. And that is indeed about Amanda Waller. Or is it? Who knows?
Yeah. Spoilers. Go listen to the episode.
All right, let's move on.
I hate you so much.
What started out as a simple Facebook debate quickly turned into an expletive-filled off-air Skype battle between our hosts. It's time to settle this argument once and for all, and finally find out who is the bigger geek. It's time for Geek Wars.
Alrighty, so this week we are going to bring it all back. It is Geek Wars, as the intro said, with the beloved Steve Boyd. Steve Boyd, our hearts and thoughts are with you.
You made that sound ominous. There's nothing wrong with Steve Boyd, everyone.
Like, wait, what did I miss? What's wrong with Steve?
I was going to go with the, in memory thing, but no.
Did you even make a placard in memory of Steve Boyd voiceover? Like
No.
Oh.
No, Steve, thank you very much for that. We always do love your voice work. But yes, we are doing Geek Wars. Now, if you are unfamiliar with Geek Wars is the contest where we ask some random geeky questions and these guys answer. Everybody will buzz in using their name or some alias that they so choose. Remember, if I don't know that you are saying your alias and not answering, that's your loss, not mine. And we will go ahead and go round the table and see who ends up the winner. If all goes well, we do end up with a 3-way tie.
So
Do you have
many
your bell,
rules.
Stephen?
Just like with me and your dad and your mom last night.
Oh, man.
I love this show.
So, question number 1 is going to be, in the movie Iron Man, what does Tony Stark want specifically upon his return?
Chris.
Meh.
SP.
Oh, Chris got it first. He said Chris.
What do you mean? I went meh.
I think Chris beat you
I
before he
beat
said
you,
meh.
though.
What are you talking about? I meh before he said Chris.
There's a Skype delay, JS. I hear you all at the same time. You have to roll with it because Chris definitely did. So, Chris, what do you got going on?
He wanted him some Burger King.
Oh, that is wrong. Anybody else want to go?
wanted some ice cream to fall off of a cone.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
He wanted a cheeseburger
He's a cheeseburger.
And
He
a-
went to Burger King.
and he wanted a press conference.
Does anybody else want to go? Anybody else? Going once.
Question stupid. Let's move on to the
Going
next.
twice. No, SP, you were the closest, but he wanted an American cheeseburger and a press conference.
And they went to Burger
Really?
King, which was
You're
American
not going to
then.
come on. I protest.
Okay, but now here's the problem.
I'm not going to play this game anymore.
I said
You
That's
make
right.
up
None
the
of us are
rules
playing
as we
this
go
game
along.
anymore.
You don't let JS Skype in. You say he's wrong for the Burger King, and you say I'm wrong for the cheeseburgers and the press conference. I mean, what
Hey,
do
and-
you want from us, Steven? Come on, man.
Steven, Burger King's a Canadian company, and he went to Burger King.
it was not at the time, but he specifically says, I looked it up. He specifically says an American cheeseburger. You can look it up.
Yeah.
The chat will
So
support
now
me.
we're all about specificity on the GonnaGeek.com podcast.
When did that happen?
I
Burger
said
King is not a
specifically.
Canadian business. Burger King is incorporated in Miami, Florida, people.
All right, so everybody is at 0, and somebody can do the market research on that. We expect Neil to chime in next week, telling us all about how Burger King is now located out of Toronto for tax credit purposes and owns Tim Hortons. So moving on, the next question that we have, since everybody's at 0, is in Star Trek canon, what year did first contact occur?
Oh, that's a good one, man. I don't remember.
Chris,
All right, Chris, what do you got?
1996.
No!
In Star Trek canon, what year did first contact occur?
I'm making a guess.
No.
You guys are going to Google because you're cheaters.
2115, I think, or 2000.
Hold your hands up so nobody Googles. I don't trust you.
It's 2115, I think. Dude, when I type, it sounds like a truck's going.
I don't know. I think it's like 2117 or something. I can't remember, but it's in the movie First Content.
Is that 2115, 2117? What is this, Jeopardy?
He just prices right at you.
Well, you guys are all at 0, so 3-way tie. It's 2063. 2063.
Hey, by Price is Right rules, I won.
That's true. That's true, actually. You did.
Yeah, but are we changing the rules again? It was specific. You had to get the year. There was no prices right involved.
Yeah,
You
how the
can't
hell are you supposed to
screw
know
us on the
this?
previous question and then prices right us on this question.
That's okay.
When was the Augment Wars? When was the Augment
Oh, that's a good
Wars?
point. Oh, yeah, that was...
Does First Contact actually like make the Augment Wars not happen?
It was in 1950s was the Augment Wars.
Really? That makes no
Some guy
sense.
says 1738 was First Contact.
No. I know when First Contact was. It was like a couple of billion years BC when Picard was standing with Q was standing over the little larva pit where life began. That's First Contact.
That's
No,
true.
so your Eugenic Wars was in 1992. Between 1992 and 1996.
I loopholed all of you because Star Trek First Contact came out in 1996, and he just asked when First Contact was. So technically, I'm right.
No, I said in Star Trek canon, what year did First Contact occur?
1996 is when the movie happened. It's canon.
He's got you there, Steven. If you're going to be specific, that does fall within the definitions of the question.
Fine. You know what? Chris, you are at 1. Chris, you are at 1. SP and JS, you are at 0. There you go. There you go.
This is why we can't have nice things.
We have to fight for points for each other. This is terrible.
All right. So question number 3. In the movie Ghostbusters, how does Egon respond to this statement? Hold it. I want this man arrested. Captain, these men are in criminal violation of the Environmental Protection Act, and this explosion is a direct result of it. How does Egon respond to that? Come on,
Suck
Chris.
it, Trebek.
This one's catered to you guys.
How's that catered to us?
You'll find
Can't
out.
believe. All I remember is the Twinkie. And this man has no, whatever.
I
It
have
says
no idea.
something. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. I don't remember.
Chris, think hard. Think hard to your New Year's resolution.
All I can think about is hot Sigourney Weaver on top of the roof. Waiting for
That's true. She was. But
I'd be like, I'm the keymaster.
do you guys give up? Do you give
I
up?
give up.
Your mother.
Oh!
That was how he responds. Your mother.
Nice.
All right. Now, if you guys don't get this one, I give up all hope. In Back to the Future 3, what name does Marty go by in Old West?
Chris.
All right, Chris, what do you got?
Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
I was trying to
Yes!
think of Clint Eastwood's character that he played with the iron thing, but I forgot it was actually Clint Eastwood's name. Go figure.
He did indeed. He did indeed. So Chris is at 2. SP and JS are at 0.
You deserve it, Chris.
All right. Who says this quote? Timeline. This is no time to talk about time. We don't have the time. What was I saying?
What kind of accent was that?
It was a horrible accent. It was a terrible, terrible accent.
See, I was trying to fish for more information, and that backfired.
Pretend I'm drunk. Pretend I'm drunk. Timeline.
Oh,
this
Chris.
is no. Okay, Chris, what do you got?
Montgomery Scott.
Nope.
Damn.
JS, what do you got?
Harry Potter.
Nope.
Is it Doc Brown?
No, it is Deanna Troy. She's drunk
Oh,
with
yeah.
Zephram Cochrane.
Wait a minute. She actually has dialogue?
Yeah, when they're in the bar and he's dancing like. Did you just watch like First Contact last week or the week before?
He must have.
No, I didn't, but I was thinking about it. I actually came across it. Yeah, no, I came across it on one of the Canadian play services, but Netflix. It was Netflix. Alrighty. So this one here is, I had faith that you guys would get this when I wrote this, but now I don't. Using the common thread among these films, fill in the 2015 blank in this sequence. The movies are Looper, RV, Eyewitness, Steve Jobs. Look for the common thread. The Newsroom, Pleasantville, Dumb and Dumber.
Jeff Bridges? Jeff Bridges.
No, that's not. It's not Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is not in there. You're close, but I want you to fill in the 2000 blank.
The Martian. The Martian.
Yeah!
Oh.
Got one!
How does the Martian actually fit in there? I'm not understanding.
They all have Jeff Daniels.
Oh.
All of those movies have Jeff Daniels.
You had me at Dumb and Dumber. I don't know why, but that's why it popped up.
I don't remember Jeff Daniels in Truman Show, but I guess
I didn't say Truman Show.
Did you not?
No, I didn't say Truman Show.
What's in your drink?
Alrighty, and these last two questions are, I think, a little fun, but this one here is fun for another reason, just because you guys can only answer this one way. How many lights do I have running in my studio when we podcast?
6.
Do I have to count the individual LED bulbs in each of those strips?
No. How many lights do I have? And that's your clue. You have to answer this in one specific way.
SP.
Go ahead, SB.
There are 4 lights.
Yes. By the way, that is a quote from TNG when Picard is being interrogated by the Cardassians. So, or Romulans. Was it Romulans or Cardassians?
Cardassians.
There's no Cardassians in Next Generation.
Yes, there are.
Yeah,
That is incorrect.
Yeah.
They even go by the DS9 at one point.
Yeah, because that's where the actor though, Gul Dukat was first Cardassian, but he was not Gul Dukat in TNG.
Oh, he was not. And what's with the? Oh, he has a beard.
Yes. So good. I'm glad you got that. I thought that one was a fun one. So
It's like one of the most famous TNG quotes. Of course I remembered. I remember that. I don't remember what frickin' Egon said. Jeez, your mama.
And the final question that we have, this one here, I think that we can get JS on the board with this one here. This delicious treat was featured in Iron Man 1, dropped by a kid who sees Iron Man. That's right. And listener/viewer, this is a callback. That is one of JS's most hated scenes in Iron Man 1 when the kid drops the ice cream cone on the Ferris wheel when he sees Iron Man flying. JS,
the movie.
Seriously, hit JS up. He's at @thereal_JSH on Twitter, or just, chime into our voicemail line because he will tell you how much he hates that scene.
Marvel loved JS's reaction so much that they actually inserted a ice cream scene into Daredevil just for JS.
Did they?
Yeah. Go watch it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. The Daredevil ice cream scene.
Well, the good news here tonight at the end of Geek Wars is that we have a two-way tie between Chris and SP. So you guys all did very, very terrifically bad, but you two did the least bad. So good job.
You're leaving me hanging here, Chris. Come on.
The other way, buddy. The other way. Like this.
Audio listener, SP and Chris are trying to pound it via the squares on the YouTube side of things. It was horrible.
Yeah, you know who was pounding it?
But that is going to take us towards the end of episode 131. We're going to go around the table here and do our usual plugs, and I'm going to start us off here by talking about something that is about another podcast that I do. It is called Better Podcasting. I do that with this guy, Stargate Pioneer. We release it usually every week, somewhere in the neighborhood of Tuesday, and that is something that currently we have a contest going on. The contest is for a brand new Audio-Technica ATR 2100. We are giving that away, and if you want to find out how you can enter about that, I encourage you to listen to any of the latest few Better Podcastings. The contest is going on till the end of February 2016, and one lucky person will definitely win that. So that's my plug. I know it's shameless, don't really care, but that is something that I am indeed plugging that at this time. Check out Better Podcasting. Chris, you got anything you want to plug?
New Year's resolution is killing me.
You realize, Chris, that I've given you the perfect opportunity because you can just be like, I want to quote Egon, and then you can do it. So
No, I have to obey both the letter and spirit of the resolution. Otherwise, I'm cheating. So I will decline from saying that I'm plugging your mother, Stephen. I will decline from saying so.
SP, you got anything you want to plug?
Sure, if you like comic books, specifically if you like Marvel comic books, go check out the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition podcast. It is a separate podcast than the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast, which is great right now talking about Agent Carter and Jessica Jones. But if you want to talk about your weekly download of Marvel comic books, come out every week. If you want to know what's going on, go ahead and check out the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition, found at GonnaGeek.com.
Come. JS, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I've been recently playing a game that the beta came out last Friday. It's called The Division from Ubisoft. It's quite interesting. You guys should look into that if you like shooters and if you like MMO type shooters. It's not really an MMO, but it's getting there. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. So that is indeed taking us to this last final moments of the GonnaGeek.com podcast as a series, because this is indeed the last episode. No, it's not. Don't worry. All of our chaos will return next week. So for episode 131, I think I just made everybody a little dumber.
I'm the winner.
I'm Bearded Man number 3.
I'm Bearded Man number 1.
I'm the original. Bye!
From everyone here at the GonnaGeek.com podcast, thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We encourage you to send your feedback by email to podcast@GonnaGeek.com. You can find all of our show history at GonnaGeek.com/official podcast. And while you're there, why not head over and check out all of the geeky podcasts on the Gonna Geek Network? The music heard on this show is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again next week.